Yeah, we have a rhythm.
Yep. It's not a great rhythm, but it's our rhythm.
Exactly. And that's what I like. I like our rhythm. I like the way that we do things. Mm-hmm. I like stuff and things.
Yeah, our rhythm method is the best rhythm method.
Oh, boy. I'll never forget being far too young to be seeing a reference to that.
Okay.
And there was a joke about that in an issue of Mad Magazine.
Scathing, that Mad Magazine.
And it had a man and a woman with on top of each other.
Right.
With a sheet over them.
Okay.
And they were both holding sets of maracas.
Mm-hmm.
And the joke was that was the rhythm method.
I can see where this is going.
That was just like the joke, right?
No, I get you. I love it.
It was a one-paneler thing. And like I'm reading that maybe 6 to 8 years old.
Right. Totally understanding.
And I'm like, okay. I don't know what's going on here, but okay.
You know what? I think a 6 or an 8-year-old today would get that.
I don't know. Is there a TikTok about it, Todd?
There probably is. The clip clops are like the kids love them.
Is there a YouTube short?
Ooh, yes. I think there is.
I'm told YouTube shorts is the way to go. That's the word on the street. If you're going to pick one or the other, TikTok versus YouTube shorts, only because, as I understand it, obviously, TikTok is a separate app and most all other kids already have YouTube.
Right.
And it's not like a separate thing that you need to go to. And a lot of the people that post on TikTok, there are your dedicated TikTokers, your people that are already kind of entrenched and ingrained in YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently if you're already entrenched and ingrained in YouTube, it's very easy to convert your existing videos to a YouTube short of something out of that video.
Completely understand. As the technical guy on the network,
right?
I get what you're saying.
Right.
I'm more of a YouTube long instead of a YouTube shorts.
Gotcha.
So,
I'm with you. I'm with you. I've had to look for YouTube to MP3 converters that pull longer than an hour. Because again, I'm YouTube long.
Right.
I remember the days when YouTube videos couldn't be longer than like 15 minutes.
I vaguely remember that. Remember that.
Very early days of YouTube.
You know what I use YouTube for a lot? And I don't know if we ever discussed this.
Probably not.
Music.
Okay.
Because I do Pandora for at night when I'm doing stuff, or if I'm doing my collection or whatever. Like I have Pandora on the phone, or I have the app on the TV, or I have it on my tablet. It doesn't matter. Whatever room I'm in, I can have it. And it'll be like, oh, okay, all right, this band pops up, and I'm like, okay, I've never heard them. I like them. And then they'll have you can go to YouTube and they'll have. If they're not a local garage band, but if they're a labeled band anywhere, they'll have a whole channel, and then they're like, here's all our albums, and then their albums just have the tracks 1 through whatever. So I'll go, now granted, between each song they might give you an 8-second, 10-second, 30-second advertising, but I don't care. It's a way for me to find out whether or not I like this band. You know what I mean? And I found a lot of times I'm like, oh, I like this band, and it's opened my eyes to some newer stuff that I never thought I'd listen to. And by newer stuff, I mean stuff in the last 15 years.
See, I don't get involved with stuff from the last 15 years. I'm very comfortable in my place as an old when it comes to music.
Yep.
But I do a lot of times use YouTube. Listen, I still have MP3s that I pulled off Napster, okay?
Right.
Those have followed me through 5 to 7 different computers, okay? Mm-hmm. But every once in a while, I'll have a music collection of stuff, and I'll notice the bit rate or the audio quality on something that I've had for a very long time is very low. And there's a YouTube site, it's called, or there's a Vivo, maybe? VEVO?
Is not Venmo is money, right?
No, Venmo is if you're a drug dealer.
Okay.
See, now we're talking about it, right?
Right.
But that's where a lot of times where I'll go, because what they do is they've just essentially uploaded like videos, right? The old videos that used to exist. But a lot of different artists use, I don't think there's like a dedicated Vevo, V-E-V-O thing, right?
Right.
But if you search your favorite artist in Vevo, V-E-V-O, and they ever did a music video, you'll find it. They'll either have their own separate dedicated Vevo page for the artist, or there's just a separate Vevo account, right?
Yeah.
And I will go and I'll pull the audio off that.
Right.
To get like a higher bit rate, higher quality version of my favorite song to put on the MP3 player.
Yeah, no, I get you. I've done that with like through YouTube also. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I mean. Like Vevo is a YouTube. It's like youtube.com/Vevo, right?
Now I know what you're saying. I thought because I was like, I saw, because I don't know if you know this, I'm a big Jack White fan, but he has a lot of like singles that I've never heard. So like I found out like going to his place that like he has a Vevo channel for his videos and stuff like that. And there'll always be like that not red dot, like a circle with Vevo written in it, like when it's the video. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but yeah, I know what you're talking about now. And yeah, and I do that too. I'm like, I mean, through legal means always, and try songs basically and get them for my phone so I can listen to them when I'm at cons.
But again, what's illegal about it's a YouTube page, right? Mm-hmm. It's not illegal. Right. It's on YouTube, right?
Right.
Maybe I don't pay for YouTube Red or whatever it's called. I don't even think it's called YouTube Red anymore. It's called something else. Yep. But like maybe, you could grab the raw audio out of a YouTube file very easily. And, typically a song is less than an hour. So there's lots of free ways to do that without infecting your device with tons of spyware and adware and so forth. Mm-hmm. It's not like and that's the thing. A lot of the times the stuff that I have, sure, there's stuff that's I got off Napster in 1996, but then there's a lot of stuff that I own the CDs for too. Yep.
Oh yeah, if there's an artist, I'll buy it regardless.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I have, like if AC/DC puts out a new album, I buy it. Jack White puts out a new album, and other people, I buy them, and I have the physical copy. But then, like, I'll just, instead of like even opening the CD, sometimes I'll just digitally rip the CD and put it on my phone, and it's like, or on my flash drive for the truck, and it's like, well, you stole that. Well, I was just gonna rip it with my computer anyway. You know what I mean? I'm saving me a step.
Right. It's easier this way.
Yes. Yeah. Did you ever hear the bit by Janine Garofalo about, Napster and stealing music? They're like, oh, so like, I'm like, downloading music from Napster or wherever at the time. And my one friend's like, that's stealing. Would you steal somebody's car like you did their music? And she goes, would I steal their car if I walked up to their car and touched it? And then an exact duplicate of their car appeared next to it while leaving their car there? I would steal cars all the time. She was like, it's like, I'm not stealing their car. I'm copying their car.
Right.
I was like, all right, that's a pretty funny bit. But
there was, and I got to find it here. And again, you never know, like, you just see shit during the week and you never know what's going to come up and be relatable,
That's my motto, be relatable.
I saw something about of like verbiage in like a book that was recently published, and like they had like the little like where it says like first printing, right? And it has like all like that verbiage there.
Yeah.
And the author through the publisher had added in there that said, and I don't have the exact quote, but it was like, don't lend this book out. And it wasn't them being funny.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay. And it was like, don't lend this book out to anyone else. If you borrowed this book from a friend, that's essentially stealing from me. return this book to your friend and buy your own copy if you liked it. And like the exact verbiage of it, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm trying to find it now, you know?
Right. I know who tweeted it, so I'm looking real quick.
Okay. Yes.
I found it. It's Mike Sterling did it. This book is licensed for your personal enjoyment only. This book may not be resold, given away to other people. If you would like to share this book with another person, please purchase an additional copy for each recipient. If you're reading this book and have not purchased it, or it wasn't purchased for your use only, then please return the book, your favorite book, and purchase your own copy, because it kind of trails off and gets blurry. Thank you for respecting the hard work of this author. So there you go, Joe.
See, I knew you would find it, you know?
Well, I'm the technical savvy guy, so.
Right. But you knew what I was talking about, right? It was one of those things that where we both saw it, we didn't discuss it, but it just sort of kind of came up, you know?
Yep. So I don't know how many comics, I got people on. Well, obviously I know that's, a gag now as we talk about it. But how many people, just, or music or books or whatever, just getting people on just because you had them try it, and then they would go buy the rest of them on their own. You know what I mean?
Right. And even further still, being a successful comic book podcaster,
yep,
we get review copies of stuff, right?
I forget about that occasionally.
We get so I get review copies of stuff.
Right. And then I have to ask you how I can get into the reviews if I ever want them. So
right. And I buy those books.
Yeah.
I'm a physical media guy, and sometimes with an older thing that I might have in single issues, trades, hardcover, and omnibus, and maybe we're reading it for the show. Sometimes I might just pull it up by a fifth another mean when I know that I've already bought this book at cover price 4 times. You know what I mean? I feel okay.
Yep.
In reading the digital copy on the go.
And I will say, as of discussing that, I had somebody talk me down today from buying both the Masterpiece Helm Edition in regular color and the green limited edition. So as of right now, I'm only buying the one. So hopefully that will stay that way. You know what I mean?
It wasn't me that you were talking to. Right. It wasn't Adam who you were talking to. It wasn't our local retailer who you were talking to.
Right.
I would like to know who this person was so we could cut them out of your life.
This person was the definitive Colonel Sanders artist.
Oh, listen, I need to have a talk with them.
Yep.
They can't be telling you to make such frivolous decisions with your money,
Right. As we discuss this now, though, I have it in my calendar on my phone. I have until April 23rd to change my mind. So.
Oh, you got like a month. You got plenty of time.
You know what? I could see me changing my mind, but as of right now, it's one standard copy. So.
All right. Well, listen, you don't want to have the full collection of everything. I guess that's your problem. Now,
right. Listen, when it comes to collecting Sandman, I'm not the Michael Jordan of collecting Sandman, but I am the Michael Jordan of being the Scottie Pippen of collecting Sandman. So,
if only DC's editorial wasn't in shambles.
Right.
I would reach out to someone there to see if there was a way that they could print, because doesn't it come with like a new story or something?
Yes.
That you get like one story if you buy one helmet, and you get a different story if you buy the other helmet.
I would buy both helmets.
See, there you go. Who do I need to talk to at DC to make this happen? Right,
and who knows? And I guarantee you, Joe, there will be no flaws in this helmet collection. No flaws.
Maybe do I? And again, I hate watching the clock, but I hate for these shows to go so super, super long. Last week I did not get a chance to talk about me walking in the Scranton St. Patrick's Day parade last week.
Wait a minute. See, when you brought this up last week off mic, that you're like, oh, I forgot. You said that I didn't get to talk about me at the St. Patrick's Day Parade, right? Which is like completely different verbiage as we talk on the show. Then, hey, Todd, I walked in the St. Patrick's Day Parade. So how did you get, I always wanted a Longbox Heroes or soon to be named Network float for the parade. How did you walk in the parade?
So my brother is in the Pipe Fitters Union. Okay. And they had a bunch of trucks in the parade, right? And his two little kids were going to be on one of the trucks throwing out candy to people, okay? Right. And they mentioned it to us that if Asa wanted to be in it with them, he could be. And when they were talking about it, I misheard them and say that it was the Taylor St. Patrick's Day Parade because, like, every municipality in the greater northeastern Pennsylvania area has their own parade, right?
Yeah.
And they have to stagger them every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday every weekend for the entire month of March so they don't overlap, right?
Right. Every city's running a St. Patty's Day opportunity.
So the whole time I'm thinking it's the Taylor Parade, right? Mm-hmm. And they paint the green lines on the street later and later now. It used to be that they were painted before the Wednesday that I would go pick up my comics.
Right, and that would trigger you.
So. And that would trigger me. So I went and picked up my comics, and there was no green lines, so I'm like, whatever. And then we're coordinating things of like, oh, where we're going to meet and what time and everything else. And then my sister-in-law is like, you keep saying the Taylor Parade. You know this is the Scranton Parade, right?
Right.
And I'm like, I do now. So, obviously they were all walking with the kids. And my kid and the two littles were going to be at the back of a truck. So I'm like, I guess I'm walking to the St. Patrick's Day Parade, right?
Oh, my God. You got, Joe.
It was a nice walk, I don't like the fact that they go the wrong way down the street our comic book shop is on.
What way do they go up the street?
Yeah.
Oh, that ain't right. You're supposed to come down that street.
I know. And again, I'm so bad. The street names are
Washington.
No. Okay, so to the right, like the street where the Ritz is on, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we start there at the corner. And it goes down to the mall, and it makes a left up by where Rocky's used to be.
Right.
Okay. Then they make the left by Rocky's. I'm naming a bunch of places that don't exist anymore.
Well, Rocky's is still there. It's just not open.
It's not open. So you make the left, and then when you get to the Rite Aid, they make a right, and you go up the wrong way of the street, right?
Yeah.
And the news media is all staked out in front of the courthouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got my head on a swivel for the camera because I don't want to be on camera, but I want to make sure the kids get on camera, right?
Oh, you weren't mean mugging it?
No, come on. I wanted to make sure the kids got on, right?
Sure.
So they saw it. They saw it. They all were goofy and thumbs up and yelling woo,
Right.
When they saw the camera, they got on the news, and my dad, watched it and then did a video of it on his phone and then texted it to us. So the quality was impeccable.
Right.
But so then as we're going up, Washington there, the street the comic book shop is on, I go, the thing's moving slow. I'm going to go run in the shop real quick. And David, a bunch of looky-loos in there,
Right. Did you ask to use the bathroom?
I went and asked if I could use the bathroom.
Did you actually use it?
No, but I had to ask,
Right, because part of the rule is if you're a well-known customer, you just don't ask, you just give the nod. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but then I just ran in real quick. I made my joke. I went back out, and then it was like the next block up where it ended. That was the end of the parade. But I think we were like the tail end of the parade because by the time that we were coming through, it was like no people at all.
Right.
Like, I don't know if it's just like the parade is front loaded, and by the time that the pipe fitters thing came through, people were drunk and gone. Or that because like COVID ruined the St. Patrick's Day parade in Scranton, it's no longer special. I'm not sure.
Or the snow the day before.
There was no snow. I don't know what you're talking about. There is no snow.
Right. That was the night it rained. But I'll say this. Are you saying the kids didn't wait for the pipe fitting float? Oh, in my day as a kid, I was like, here comes Pipe Fitters 552.
I was waiting for the tradesman to come through. True. I don't want to see the guy playing bagpipes.
Right.
I want to see the surly guy in welder's masks.
Yeah. He's got his soldering iron melting candy. But I'll say this. Next year we are having a float. I don't care. Asa could throw candy off of that.
All right. Oh, I could say this on here, okay?
Right.
April wasn't there, okay?
Right. Was she selling shoes?
Yeah, she was selling shoes. I don't want to say I'm a bad influence, okay?
Okay.
So, Asa says, you're like, oh, the kids are going to throw candy to the people. And he says, I'm going to throw candy at people.
That's right. Good boy, son.
And I say, okay. I go, you're going to throw candy at people, huh? He goes, yeah. I go, if you can knock somebody's drink out of their hand with the candy, I'll give you $5.
Yes.
I go, if you get it in their cup without them realizing it, I'll give you $10. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, man, you know?
Oh, my God. I can see Asa like Nolan Ryan out there winding up.
There were people that he, like, when there was, like, he kind of knew to mess with, like, teenagers that were there.
Yeah.
Like, he would throw candy and they would, like, scatter to get it. Mm-hmm. And then as they were getting it, he would, like, wing a piece at one of them.
Yeah. Here's the bait candy, and then here's the winging candy.
Right. But then there was a couple people when he was throwing them, they were like catching it out of midair, and he was marking out for it. So then he would throw more at them.
Yep.
And they were trying to catch it out of midair. And then as we were going, like, you know, the little kids, and he's still little, don't let him fool you. He was on like the back of a truck or whatever, and there were like some like punk teenage girls that were walking alongside of it. And I think he was trying to flirt with one of them.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Things are about to change in your family, Joe. Oh, boy.
You don't even know. I wish I had an outlet for that sort of thing. Anyway.
You know, I think there's a podcast about that somewhere.
There used to be.
Right. I know somebody's still paying for one.
Oh, my God. I have that in my calendar. Don't worry about it.
Okay, the nuclear codes.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was that, and now see, this is the other thing. So I mentioned that, and there was something else I wanted to talk about.
Before you go, while you're thinking about that, what kind of candy was it?
Yeah, you know, it was like your usual, like Tootsie Rolls, Dum Dum lollipops.
Okay.
Double bubble gum, that sort of thing. It's
kind of like at least small salt, like, okay.
Yeah,
like,
winging candy, as you
gotcha.
said.
Not a problem. I just wanted to know. There wasn't like, okay.
It was loose gummy bears.
Yeah, it was gummy worms.
Yeah.
What, did you remember the other thing you wanted to mention?
Nah, I don't remember nothing.
You'll remember it as soon as you hit stop. So
I know, and then I'll write it down and I'll make a note for myself for next week. And
so we're always going to be 1 week behind on our topic.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? No, I do remember now. I think I can make this real quick.
Sure.
I could talk about it here because it's, it was from the main show, right?
Right.
And there's a little less cross-pollination. So I mentioned last week when we were talking about the Ahoy book, okay?
Right.
The gimmick, written by Joanne Starr, that there was a character who gets killed in the book who I think she had based on someone very specifically, okay?
Okay.
So I tweeted at her vaguely about it, okay? And then she replied with like a GIF of Kevin from The Office,
right?
Like pretending to put the lock in and saying like she'll never tell.
Yep.
which was like the fact that she acknowledged it was admission of guilt. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So she would have said no or nothing if it wasn't. Okay.
Right.
So there was on the northeastern Indies in the late 90s, early 2000s, a Puerto Rican guy who wrestled under the name Crazy Ivan.
Okay.
And that was because the other Puerto Rican guys told him that he shouldn't wrestle under the name of Skinhead Ivan.
Oh, why not?
So it was notorious that there were certain indies that certain people that he knew weren't on, he would still wrestle as Skinhead Ivan. And then others he would wrestle as Crazy Ivan, because again it was the late 90s, early 2000s. The internet wasn't what it was, but eventually he was just Crazy Ivan everywhere, right?
Right.
But he was a Puerto Rican guy doing a Nazi gimmick.
Oh my God.
And that's what the character in the book was, right?
Right.
So that's who I thought she was referencing, and again, because she said I can't say, I'm like, oh, she definitely was, okay.
See, I just thought it was a reference to the Hunt for Red October movie, so...
No. Where they do the close-up on the lips and then everything just translates for the rest of the movie?
Yeah, that's the way you should do it.
Yeah. All right, that's it. I remembered everything now.
Good, I'm glad. I was worried. I wouldn't have been able to sleep tonight if you didn't.
Did I hit record? I did. Okay.
Oh, boy. That's never happened.
It's been a long time.
At least you didn't bring a third person in that we didn't record.
We had to bring a third person on with At Odds this past week, and it was going to be one of these things where, okay, we're going to start recording, and then when he says he's ready, we got to stop and then add him to the call and then start the re-record up. And then 10 minutes before we were getting ready to record, he's like, oh, I'm ready to go now. And we're like, awesome. So I don't have to worry about any of that shit, right?
Yep. I don't know if you could hear it in my voice about how upset I am that the third person wasn't me, Joe.
Mm-hmm. It could be. It could be you, Todd. What are you doing this Thursday?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all.
You know what? We'll watch Dynamite this week.
Rather light Dynamite, not throw it and watch it.
Orange Cassidy is teaming up with Kabuki Crow.
Right.
To take on a Butcher and a Blade.
Ooh, is Bunny there? Maybe I'll watch.
I think she's going to be there.
Okay.
I think she hurt herself again. She might not be there in a physical capacity, but we shall see.
Okay, she'll always be there in my mind, though.
Exactly. Double J will be on. It'll be great.
Ugh. This is a no Double J zone.
No, everywhere. Well, I can't suggest him for show images on the At Odds show anymore.
Do not use them for any of our show images, please.
I don't know how to do those things. I see you putting things together where you're Photoshopping shit, and I'm like, ooh, Todd's going to start making show images. Or we have a perfectly good one that we could just use for every episode.
That is true, but I just think you'd sneak a Double J in there somehow.
I wouldn't know how to fucking first thing to do about it.
Right.
I get the two covers, I compress them, I merge them horizontally, and then I compress that. That's the extent of what I know. Right.
I'm impressed at your compress.
There you go. And that's a perfect way to end the show. Patreon.com/LongboxHeroes. Sign up for the Patreon. Get bonus shows, full scans of the preview catalogs, early access to After Dark, and go find our eBay affiliate link. It might be a little bit harder to find, but it's still there.
Great verbiage, though.
Yes. Oh, perfect. It's hand-picked by eBay themselves, the verbiage.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening. This was Longbox Heroes After Dark 436.
The Lamborghini of podcast networks.